Okay, the fluids have been checked. We're in the car. Have the keys in the ignition. It's time to fire this podcast up. 6.6 liters of 404 barrel single exhaust power from a 1976 Chrysler Cordoba. And episode number 6 is ready to start on the WaltPar Podcast, uniting all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere, from Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond. This is the WaltPar Podcast. Hello, everyone, and again, welcome to episode number 6 of the WaltPar Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Gresser, Mopar since 1960, and I am ever so grateful you can join me here on the WaltPar Podcast. My email address is waltparpodcast@aol.com, and you can find me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads. Search WaltPar Podcast. Okay. Before I get started on the news, I listened to episode 41 of the WaltPar Podcast back in February. It was a great episode. Robert talked with Cecil Simonson, who is the widow to Troy Simonson. Now, Troy worked with Chrysler Corporation. Troy was responsible for all kinds of Chrysler performance development, including the 426 race Hemi that was in Richard Petty's 1964 Plymouth number 43. He worked with the Ram Chargers program, the Golden Commando performance program, and he had a say in the Little Red Express truck. And she married Troy not that long ago in 1996. He has since passed. But she is a gearhead herself. If you ever heard her describe herself on the podcast, you'd say, boy, that'd be my dream, babe. But she loves talking about his accomplishments and the stories behind them. If you love hearing stories of Mopar performance past, this is a podcast to listen to. That's episode number 41 of the WaltPar Podcast. That's a podcast based on Dodge trucks, any kind of trucks. He's going to love my next podcast, by the way. But look up WaltPar and episode number 41 with their host, or with guest, Cecil Simonson. I'd also like to congratulate Andre Bernier. Andre is a senior meteorologist on staff at WJW Television, Fox 8 in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, why do I bring him up? He was one of the many people who helped me in getting the WaltPar Podcast on the air. And to paraphrase a song, I think it was done by Reba McEntire, Andre was podcasting before podcasting was cool. Now, Andre just put out his 601st episode of his podcast, which is called Weather Jazz. It's a podcast about weather, earth science, and other subjects. Andre's a great host, and he's a very nice gentleman. Got to meet him in person at my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's Thanksgiving celebration. It's on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. He was invited, as well as my wife Angie and I, and he's a great person. So is his wife Sally. So if you can, listen to the Weather Jazz Podcast, as his next one will be 602. Now, let's get started with the latest headlines regarding the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram brands. Normally when I do these stories, I do them in the chronological order. Whenever I see them, I just put them in the order. I just keep adding to the list, and that's pretty much it. But I did move this one to the head of the list because I'm doing this on March 11th. It's now 9:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, Mopar's insiders, Stel Power, and Autoblog report the 2024 and 2025 LB body Dodge Charger has made its public debut clear back on March 5th. I have a ton of links. As you know, I use Autoblog.com, StelPower.com, MoparInsiders.com, and a few other outside sources as well as they come along, which I think is news for you. And they have like a ton of articles. If you put the three of those websites together, I think they've put like a total of 20 articles on the Charger. I mean, you do whatever you want, dimensions, powertrains, debuts, models, dimensions, comparisons. It's even all there. So all those 20 posts, you can find something about the Charger. It should be pretty complete what you find. Go to my social media pages, Facebook, X, and Threads, and I have links to all those articles for you to read to find out more about the Charger. But there's one thing I want to add as part of this news, and that is Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders and Ben Su, he spells his name HSU, of Autoblog. They also report that the Charger Daytona will be using a patented vibration system to simulate driving an internal combustion engine vehicle. But Robert S. Miller reported that the official sound to be used is not known yet. So we're going to find out what that is when the time comes. All right, let's get started with the rest of the news. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports the GT package will be returning to the Laramie and Rebel models of the 2025 Ram 1500, which began production February 5th, 2024. Part of the package is an engine upgrade to the standard output Hurricane engine, as well as other performance and trim level updates. It was reported on March 2nd, 2024 by Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders. The 2025 Ram 1500 trucks are starting to be delivered to a dealership near you. David Zatz of Stelpower and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports Stellantis is making further investments in hydrogen fuel technology for their commercial vans. This is mainly what's going on in Europe right now. Robert S. Miller reports that this is for Europe only, and it's part of the European ProMaster Pro 1 lineup. Now, also keep an eye on Cummins engines, as they are also investing in hydrogen fuel cell technology and are working with Love Travel Stops to install hydrogen fuel stations at their truck stop locations. Keep an eye in the future as we bring more articles on the Ram trucks and what they're going to do with the Cummins engine. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. And it's not just diesel, but by using a fuel for those same engines a different way, cool things are coming. After a 7-year investigation, Autoblog.com reports an article from Reuters that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has been satisfied that Stellantis has taken care of the problem with the rotary shift knob that's on the dashboard that shifts your gears. The problem was, after the shift knob was put into park, the vehicles may roll away. The problem occurred on certain 2013 through 2017 Ram trucks and 2014 through 2017 Dodge Durangos. Stellantis has released pictures of the new Wagoneer S battery electric vehicle. There was a lot mentioned, too much to be reported here. If you want to know more, David Zatz of Stelpower, Zach Palmer of Autoblog, and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders have great articles for you to find out more. Now, Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders also reports it may be available, maybe, not a definite, but it may be available for sale in as early as July 2024. Stay tuned for further updates. Now, while Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares was having a discussion with the media, Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports Stellantis' EV strategy will depend on who will be elected president of the United States in November. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports the European-built JJ Body Jeep Avenger, it's a real small version of a Compass, it looks like. The ones that will be sold in Great Britain will now be offered with a plug-in hybrid and internal combustion engine powertrains, as well as an electric powertrain that was originally offered in the JJ Body Jeep Avenger to begin with. Now, Ram trucks, like Jeeps, just keep on getting awards in Brazil, where they're sold as well. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports this time it's the Ram 3500 winning 2 Champion Lotus Sales Awards for Outstanding Commercial Service by Frota and SIA magazines. That's spelled CIA, SIA magazine. Plus, Ram sales for the month of January 2024 are up 285% from sales in January of 2023. Remember, just like as you hear these huge sales increases of electric cars in the U.S., remember, those are just getting started. Same with the Ram trucks in Brazil. They're just getting started sending models down there. They've done it for a few model years, so they're getting there, and people are liking them. Plus, they also report that the Jeep just keeps dominating Brazil as well. Robert S. Miller reports that Jeep in Brazil in 2023 had a 26% market share and has sold over 21,000 vehicles, which is 5,000 more vehicles than whatever brand was in second place. On February 13th, after teasing the public, the Chrysler Halcyon concept car was revealed. Brian Hurd of Autoblog and Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders and Patrick Earl Stelpower all wrote on what they saw, so check out their articles on their websites. McDonald's Restaurants has a new advertising promotion for some new burgers. David Zatz of Stelpower and Chris Teague of Autoblog report it involves the Hamburglar and his getaway car, which is a 1970 custom-painted Barracuda. A Mopar club, unfortunately, is closing down after 45 years. David Zatz of Stelpower reports the National Chrysler Products Club is closing down. According to Mr. Zatz, certain members of the Walter P. Chrysler Club split to start the National Chrysler Products Club. The membership were mainly from Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, and used to hold some very well-attended events in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Some of the reasons cited was lack of help for the shows and other small reasons like that, but we hate to see a car club go and keep the Mopar name going. That was the National Chrysler Products Club. Sorry to see you go. Hope you find another club to join and keep the great hobby of Mopar going. We missed a birthday. David Zatz of Stelpower noticed the first Chrysler car built, a Model B70, started production 100 years ago. Now, back in 1924, now I don't know what engine it had, but the B70 was the only car besides a straight 8-powered Packard to reach 70 miles per hour. That's a pretty fast speed for back then. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports that the Dodge Hornet is the slowest selling vehicle, according to a report from CarEdge.com. But the Hornet's not alone. The Charger, Challenger, Ram 2500, Ram 3500, and the Chrysler 300 are also in the top 10 of the slowest selling vehicles. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports the Grand Cherokee has won the PBS show Motor Week Driver's Choice Award for Best Midsize Sport Utility, and they did that for a second year in a row. Also, Jonathan Ramsey of Autoblog reports Stellantis has lowered the amount of price increases on certain models of the Grand Cherokee. There's a little bit more on that later in this podcast. Now, speaking of more awards for Jeep, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports the entire line of Wranglers has won the Cars.com Best SUV Award for 2024. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, found a 2025 Ram 1500 manual, and it reports what fuel you should put in the new 3-liter Hurricane Inline 6 engines. It's being asked not to use E85 fuel or any gasoline that has a higher than 15% ethanol content. Please run either 87 or 89 octane fuel on the standard output engines, and it says to use 91 octane on the high output engine. Now, David Zatz of Stelpower also had a report on this as well. David Zatz of Stelpower reports future Stellantis North American electric vehicles will be able to use the SAE J3400 connector for fast charging. The connector is supposed to be able to connect to Tesla's charging network as well as the newly named Iona charging network, which Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports has just begun operations. Now, Iona is a joint venture with Stellantis and 6 other auto manufacturers, and they're planning on building a charging network with 30,000 charging stations. Also, David Zatz of Stelpower reports slowly but surely, more parts plants are transitioning over to make more parts for EVs. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders reports starting soon and lasting through 2024, Stellantis will be doing another stock buyback worth $3 billion of their stock. Congratulations to the Mopar Muscle of Central Pennsylvania Club on their 25-year anniversary. Two more club anniversaries to talk about or think about. Citrus County Mopar Club in Citrus County, Florida on their 14-year anniversary, and the club I belong to, the Mid-Ohio Mopars, on their 33rd anniversary. Congratulations to all three of those clubs. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports Stellantis is filing a patent for a 2-speed gearbox to be used in fully electric-powered Jeeps. Mainly Jeeps like the fully electric Wrangler or the new Recon that's coming out later this year as a 2025. Now, while the Jeep Renegade has been discontinued for sale in the U.S. and Canada, it is still being built in Brazil, and those vehicles are sold in countries south of the U.S. border. Renegades are also built in Italy for the European market. And Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports the 2024 Renegade is being updated with new powertrains and a couple of tech improvements. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports United Auto Workers members who are employed by Stellantis will receive profit-sharing checks in 2024. The amount is unknown, but it is worked off a formula that was agreed to by the union membership in Stellantis. Payments will be made throughout 2024. A new sales organization structure has been announced by Stellantis North America. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders and Stellantis report that Jason Stoycevic will be Senior Vice President of Retail Sales. Mr. Stoycevic was President of Stellantis Canada. Jeff Hines took his place. Mr. Hines was Vice President of U.S. Sales and Operations, and Jeff Comer, or K-O-M-M-E-R, Comer, will be Senior Vice President of Commercial Sales. Mr. Comer was Head of U.S. Sales. David Zatz of Stelpower, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, and Ronan Glahn of Autoblog report Jeep will be recalling 130,318 PHEV-powered vehicles. That's hydrogen electric vehicle-powered Wranglers, and 59,825 of the same powertrain in Grand Cherokees, and that the recall is due to defroster vents not working properly because of a software error. Now, after a 2-year wait for customers, Jonathan Ramsey of Autoblog reports new Jeep Grand Cherokees will be available with a hands-free driving assist option. That is exactly what the option is called, and you could read his article on Autoblog.com for more information. Patrick Rawl of Stelpower reports the new 2024 Gladiators are slowly but surely starting to show up at dealerships. And fellow Stelpower reporter David Zatz reports there will be a lower price on them too, depending on what trim level has been ordered. Now, Ram Trucks invited the automotive media to test drive the 2025 Ram 1500. Lots and lots of media outlets took the time to take up the offer, and Robert S. Miller also reports that a new price configurator for the 2025 Ram 1500 is now up and running on the Ram Trucks website. Joel Stocksdale of Autoblog reports a second base price decrease has come to the Jeep Compass. Now they are on average of being $2,000 cheaper than last year. Joel Stocksdale of Autoblog also reports the first full model year for the all-electric Jeep Recon will be 2025. Now, what month in 2025, that is not known. Now, a lot of us, including me, we hated to see the third-generation Hemi go. But Stellantis had their reasons for doing it. They were selling lots of them, so that wasn't a reason, and they knew people loved them. But here's the problem. We have our U.S. government. Now, David Zatz of Stelpower broke down the reasons why in an article he wrote for Stelpower.com. One of the biggest reasons is that the U.S. government has a fuel economy average requirement for all vehicles a manufacturer produces. If you exceed that standard number, the government will give you some credits. But if not, then you have some liabilities to take care of. The third generation Hemi did not meet up to the government standards for mileage average. So Stellantis had to find a way to avoid penalties from the government, so they spent millions of dollars purchasing those credits from all-electric company Tesla. So Stellantis got tired of doing that. You don't blame them. That's why the Hurricanes came out. That's why powerful electrics come out. And that's pretty much it. It's thanks to our government with what they do and what we have to do to live. Stellantis had to put a stop to it, because now the money that they spent for those credits could now be spent on future research and development. Now, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports that Dodge in Europe will be the official car of the World SBK Motorcycle Series. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports a recall has been issued for certain Chrysler 300s, Dodge Challengers, and Dodge Chargers on a parking brake issue. A total of a little over 1,800 vehicles are involved. Now, with all recalls, contact your dealer, have your VIN number handy if you didn't buy the car there or had any service work there, to find out if your car is eligible. Now, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports Ram Middle East has seen an 80% growth in sales. He also reported that the Dubai Police Department now has a Ram 1500 TRX in their fleet. Since the Ram 1500 has received updates, the DJ and D2 bodied Ram heavy-duty pickup trucks will be getting updates next. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports the truck version of the 6.4-liter Hemi V8 will remain, as will the 6.7-liter Cummins diesel engines. On the transmission front, there will be a new automatic transmission called the Powerline, and it will be replacing the 68 RFE. The new Ram heavy-duty pickup trucks will be receiving new front-end styling and will be all new, but the A-pillar on back and the interior will stay the same. The 2025 Ram heavy-duty pickup trucks should be available in late 2024. Jeep's new CEO, Antonio Filosa, recently held a media roundtable meeting. Jonathan Ramsey of Autoblog and Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders were there and report more price cuts are coming. Vehicles will come along with those price cuts, more standard equipment, and the model lineup will be made more understandable and quality issues will be addressed. Stellantis will be issuing a recall on 2021-2023 Grand Cherokees. David Zatz of Stelpower and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders report a pinch bolt in the upper control arm could fail, causing the steering knuckle and ball joint to separate. And there's another Grand Cherokee recall. A little over 9,400 2023 and 2024 Grand Cherokees are also being recalled for having the high beam headlights not working properly. Again, contact your dealer, have your VIN handy if you didn't buy it there, and see if your vehicle is included in any of those recalls. Top honors from Parents Magazine for the Best Family Car Awards were given out recently. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports the 2024 Pacifica minivan and Wagoneer received the honors for having family-friendly features and cutting-edge technology. When the Jeeps at Daytona takes place later this year, there will be an addition to the Jeep Beach Editions. Jonathan Ramsey of Autoblog, David Zatz of Stelpower, and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports for 2024, not only will there be 500 Wrangler Beach Editions made, there will also be 250 Gladiator Beach Editions made as well. David Zatz of Stelpower reports a lot of car manufacturers are on board to have the next generation Apple CarPlay. But Stellantis is not one of them, at least so far. We need to wait and see if this is official and it will stay like that. The 58th annual Easter Jeep Weekend at Moab, Utah has been set. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports it will be held March 23rd through the 31st, 2024. There's pictures up there from there, and also the Beard, Patrick Rawl of Stel Power, also has a preview as well and some teaser photos. Over 27,000 2022 and 2023 Pro Masters will be recalled. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports the recall is due to a seatbelt warning system malfunction. And finally, a lot of you are wondering if a date has been set for Holly Mo Party. A lot of comments you see, when's it going to come? When's it going to happen? I don't blame them. A lot of people love going to Holly Mo Party. Well, the date has been set. It will once again be held at Beach Bend Raceway in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it will be held on September 13th through the 15th. I will also repeat that in the Mopar event calendar that I have later on. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's easier than you think. Spotify for Podcasters is out there to help you out. You can only need your smartphone if that's what you want to use. You do not have to have any fancy equipment, fancy mixers, or anything else. I mean, I got a small one here. I bought all this stuff at a computer store. It's not hard to find. Lots of videos out there on YouTube to get you started using just your smartphone or other methods, and they can teach you and go through the process. Spotify for Podcasters is very easy to use. You can go to the website. They tell you how to do it. You get it set up. Audiotronic is a free software I use that I'm recording with right now. And it's just very easy to use. No matter your subject, gardening, handyman, politics, cars, trucks, whatever. The possibilities are endless, and there is someone that will want to hear you. Believe it or not, there is someone who does hear me, and I appreciate every single one of you that do that. But you can let your own voice be heard. Podcasters for Spotify. It's podcasters.spotify.com for more information. Make sure you check them out. Well, have you ever been to a worship service where you heard the pastor say, or the person going to give the message say, I had a sermon all prepared for this service, but something happened and I had to change it? Well, that's what happened with me with this episode number 6. In the latest podcast from Talking Mopars, Chris Albrecht did a short history of Chrysler Corporation's dealings with Mitsubishi Motors. There were a few errors in it. I will get into that. But please, I'm not blaming Chris. Don't you either. He's a very busy man. He's got a full-time job. He's got to get ready for Mopar or muscle cars at the Strip down in Vegas. He's got a family to have fun with, and he wants to have fun with his own cars as well. So I'm not blaming him. You know, he was too young. I lived through it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out what he started. So, Chris, I'm going to get this taken care of. We're going to get the record straight. What I did was, if you remember in episode 1, how I did the judging book for the car show, the resources for that book came from the Chrysler parts books. And so I did each model year, if it was offered by Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and now Ram brands at a dealership, and it was in the parts book, I had it on those judging sheets. And I went through 1971, on the way through. I still got to work on 2014 on up because I don't work at the dealerships anymore. But I did save those resources, and I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And this is the basis of where I have my information from. When I was a Chrysler dealer parts advisor, I would save that information, put it on my computer, make out Excel spreadsheets, and I got it all done. So that's where the source was. So straight from Mopar, and this will be where my information will be coming from, and from personal experience as I tell you the rest of the Mitsubishi story. For the sake of time, I'll be just going through the models. I won't be getting into engine offerings, trims, models, etc. Just the basic cars. Now, it all started before the 1971 model year. Chevrolet division of GM and the Ford division of Ford Motor Company were planning to build a subcompact car for the 1971 model year. And we know those cars today as the Chevrolet Vega and the Ford Pinto. In Canada, Pontiac did the same thing with the Pontiac Astra, which is basically a Chevrolet Vega with different trim and different grille. But that was in Canada only. The later years, the Astra came down to America, but it got its start in Canada, the Pontiac Astra, A-S-T-R-E. Now, Chrysler, they took a different role. Instead of designing and building their own, they went to a manufacturer. They actually went to two. Mitsubishi from Japan for the 1971 through 70, for the Dodge Colt, and Hillman from Great Britain for the Plymouth Cricket. Plymouth Crickets were available only in the 1971 through 73 model years. And also in later years, they were known as Dodge Poleras in Brazil. So let's go down the list of the Mopar vehicles, and we're going to do the ones built by Mitsubishi in Japan first, because we'll go through the Diamond Star cars as well. Of course, like I said, it started in 1971. The 1971 through 1994, the Dodge Colt started. Depending on the model year, they came in two-door, four-door, sedan, hatchback, and station wagon body styles. When the front-wheel drive hatchback came out in 1979, a Plymouth Companion came out called the Champ, and that was through the 1982 model year. And in the 1983 model year, and after that, Plymouth Companion vehicles were then called Colts, just like the Dodges. Now, 1976 through 1980 was the Plymouth Arrow. Cute little fastback car. The fire arrows were really cool looking, and they were great. Now, a little bit of history here. Bob Glidden, famous for racing Fords in the Pro Stock class at the NHRA, 1 year had a 1979 Arrow built for a Pro Stock. That car did fantastic. It won everything. He was cleaning everybody's clock with that car. It did so good that NHRA decided to outlaw it after 1 year from competing, and the following year, Bob returned to driving a Ford Fairmont Futura in 1980. 1978 through 83 brought us the Plymouth Sapporo and Dodge Challenger. These cars were nice-looking two-doors with great-looking interiors, but like many of you, I wish the Dodge would have been called something else, not a Challenger. But they were nice-looking cars. The Challengers had really great interiors, nice tech for the day at a lower price. They were sharp-looking cars. The Sapporo was more conservative with white walls and wheel covers, but there was a little bit of dash of really nice stuff in the Dodge Challenger. Now, in 1979, the trucks premiered. The Dodge was called in the beginning the D50, and the Plymouth version came out as the Plymouth Arrow pickup. Both trucks looked exactly the same. The only difference was in the nameplates. They brought out this compact truck because Chevrolet had the Love, which was short for light utility vehicle, the Love truck, which was built by Isuzu, and Ford had the Courier trucks, which were built by Mazda. And clear back in 1973, when I went to visit relatives in Florida, the Love truck and the Courier were available in limited states like California and Florida. So I picked up the brochures on them when I was there, and they were there before they went nationwide with those trucks. And so Chrysler came in with their Mitsubishi-built truck, the D50, and then the Plymouth Arrow pickup. Now, the Arrow only lasted through 1982, and the D50 continued only one more model year as that, and in the 1981 model year, they were known and renamed Ram 50. The Ram 50s were made through the 1993 model year. In 1984, the Dodge and Plymouth Colt Vista premiered. It was a four-door utility vehicle available in two- or four-wheel drive, and it was done selling. They were done selling it after the 1994 model year. From 1987 until 1981, the Dodge Raider was for sale. I remember I listened to Chris's last podcast when he had big blocks there, and I forget the fine gentleman's name from DIY Hemi or Green Sublime Technologies. He couldn't remember the name at first. What he called was the Marauder, but it was the Dodge Raider. It was based off a Mitsubishi Montero truck. It was built, Dodge sold it between 1987 and 1989. Cute little SUV. You could say it could compete with the Bronco too. It was a short two-door sport utility, four-wheel drive truck. You could say it could be something like a Wrangler or something like that, but that's what the Raider was. And it came out from 1987 to 1989, built in Japan. Next up, now here's where we need to correct Chris a little bit. He goes and says that these trucks were built, or these cars were built by Diamond Star, and they were not. These cars were built in Japan. We're talking the Conquest. Conquest first came out in 1984, and then through 1986, they were Dodge and Plymouth Conquests. In 1987, no more Dodge or Plymouth Conquests. The Conquest became part of the Chrysler brand model lineup. They still had a slab side like the 84 through 86s, but the Conquest, when it premiered in 1987, also had a higher performance model called the TSI. And it had its own version of what we now call the wide body. It had bulged out fenders. It had two different size tires on it. The TSI had high tech for back in that day, gorgeous interiors and everything else. You can say what you want about the engines, but it was a tech marvel. I mean, the automatics had paddle shifters clear back in 1987. Now, the Conquests were done being sold as a Chrysler in 1989. They were a great little car. Chris liked them, and I did too. They were gorgeous. Now, the next vehicle to come was the Eagle Summit. 2 doors, 4 doors, stuff like that. They were made from 1989 through 1996. Enough said. We don't need to go through that. The final Mitsubishi imported from Japan was the Stealth. That was based on the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It was sold here from 1991 until 1996. And all but the Stealth RT Turbo, all but that model, were front-wheel drive. The RT Turbo is the one that had all the goodies, twin turbos, all-wheel drive, and four-wheel steering. Now, like I said, the Conquest and the Stealth were not built by Diamond Star Motors in Norma, Illinois. They were built by Mitsubishi in Japan. Proof of that, you can do that yourself very easily. Find those cars, look at the first digit of the VIN, the vehicle identification number. If it's a J, that meant the car was built in Japan. And if it's a 4, it stands for Made in the USA by a foreign manufacturer. The Conquest and Stealth VINs begin with a J, and the rest of the cars I'm going to read from the Diamond Star Company begin with a 4. Now, before we go to the Diamond Star cars, there were some engines that Chrysler brand vehicles used, Chrysler Corporation domestic vehicles used, had engines that were built by Mitsubishi. It started out in 1978 with a 243 cubic inch 6-cylinder diesel used in the 1978 and 1979 Dodge B, D, and W100 and 200 trucks and vans. Try finding one in a van. It was offered, but we don't think we ever saw one. Nobody ever saw one that I know of, but it was offered. It's in the brochure, but it's not there. But they did offer them in the vans. They did offer them in the pickups. I saw a few pickups. There was a beautiful one at the old Underwood Lincoln Mercury Dodge in Worcester. It was a 1978. This thing looked like it was unrestored. It was so beautiful and perfect and original. The only thing he did with it, he took the stack and put it like in the middle of the right side bedside and poked the pipe through. He did a very professional job on it. But that was a Mitsubishi diesel in that. I remember the oil filters. You had 2 of the 5281090. It was back 3549 957 oil filters. It's what it took for it. The trucks were not accelerating. They didn't have much horsepower, but they offered a diesel because, after all, GM in 1978 offered the 5.7-liter Oldsmobile diesel in their half-ton pickups. The Mitsubishi engine used was their code known as the 6DR5 engine. Now, the next one that came up was a 2.6-liter 4-cylinder engine. that was used in the K cars and minivans in the 1984 through 1986 model years. Now, this car was in a lot of vehicles, or this engine was a 3-liter V6, and it was used from 1987 through 2000 in the minivans. It provided more power than what the 2.6 offered, and it was a V6 that made people feel better. It was a 6-cylinder, better than it was a 4-cylinder. They were also available in certain 1988 through 1995 cars, as well as the 1987 through 2000 minivans. And then there was the 2.5 V6 engines that was used in certain cars from 1995 through 2000. Now, to end up this, this is the next to the last thing on the Mitsubishi alliance with Chrysler. They both formed a corporation called Diamond Star. And it was a joint venture between Chrysler and Mitsubishi, and they built a brand new plant in Normal, Illinois. Now, while the joint venture is over, the plant is still open. It employs 8,000 people, and they build the Rivian electric vehicles there. So the plant is still alive, and the people are still working there. The first car that was built by Diamond Star was the Plymouth Laser. These are the cars that had the 4 in the beginning of the VIN. The Plymouth Laser was built between 1990 and 1994. This is not to be confused with the G-body front-wheel drive Chrysler Laser that was built between 1984 through 86, and it was a companion car to the front-wheel drive Dodge Daytona. The Eagle Talon was built between 1990 and 1998. That was based off, and both those cars were based off the Mitsubishi Eclipse. The Chrysler Sebring two-door coupe had 2 different body styles, the FJ body and then the ST body after 2001. They were built between 1995 and 2000. And that was the Dodge Avenger, if I didn't say that right. The Chrysler Sebring was made between 1995 and 2005. My eyes are playing tricks on me. The Dodge Avenger two-door coupe was built between 1995 and 2000. That was an FJ body. The Chrysler Sebring two-door coupe built between 1995 and 2000 was the FJ body. The 2001 through 2005 was known as an ST body. Now in 2001, the Avenger became the Dodge Stratus two-door coupe, and that was the ST body that was shared with the newer Chrysler Sebring two-door coupes, and those were made between 2001 and 2005. Now, the final joint venture between Chrysler Corporation and Mitsubishi, this was finally where Chrysler got to build one for Mitsubishi, and it was built in Detroit. Chrysler used it as the NM body, and it was the Mitsubishi Raider, and it was a retrimmed Dodge Dakota, and it was built between 2006 and 2009. Now, that, folks, is the Mitsubishi story for you. Now we got that out of the way. Now you got a reference to go to if you really want to listen. But I just thought I'd get that out of the way. And let's go to the show calendar. In the great state of Alabama, Mopar's at the Battleship benefiting Children's Hospital in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mulherron Home in Mobile, Alabama. It will be held at the USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park in Mobile, Alabama. Hosting club is the Big Easy Mopar Association, bigeasymopar.org. The Coleman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram presents Mopars by the Lake at Sportsman Lake Park in Coleman, Alabama, spelled Cullman. The hosting club is Pentastar South. Call Robert 256-734-1064 or Brenda 590-2949. That's 256-590-2949. In Alberta, Canada, July 27th, Western Canada's largest Mopar show, the Western Mopar Madness, will be held at RAD Torque Raceway in Leduc County, Alberta, Canada. It will be held from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. The hosting club is the Edmonton Mopar Association, EMAWMM.com for more information. Great state of Arizona, the 37th Annual High Energy Mopar Invitational Show, or HEMI for short, will be held on March 9th, 2024 at AutoNation Dodge near Interstate 17 at Bell Road in North Phoenix, Arizona. Hosting club is Mopars Unlimited of Arizona, moparsaz.com for more information. Great state of Arkansas, the third annual Turpentine Creek Mopar Classic at Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Eureka Springs, Arkansas from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. tcmoparclassic.com for more information. The great state of California, Spring Fling 36, All Mopar Show and Parts Exchange, will be held April 20th and 21st at Woodley Park, Van Nuys, California. There's two hosting clubs, Southern California Mopar Car Club and Chrysler Performance West Club. For more information, cpwclub.com. Great state of Connecticut, May 18th and 19th. The 44th Annual Mopar Expo Show and Swap Meet at Papa's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in New Britain, Connecticut from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The hosting club, Mopars in Motion. You'll be hearing this several times. Contact Ralph at 860-416-1228. September 22nd, the 16th Annual Innovators Show and Shine All Mopar Show at Artioli Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Enfield, Connecticut. That's Enfield, Connecticut from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Hosting club again, Mopars in Motion. Again, contact Ralph, 860-416-1228. The great state of Florida, April 13th. It's the 14th Annual Mopars by the Lake All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet. Will be at Wallace Brooks Park in Inverness, Florida. Hosting club will be the Citrus County Mopar Club. You can go to their Facebook page for more information. May 10th and 11th, the 37th Annual Sunshine State Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet at the Florida Horse Park in Ocala, Florida. It will be hosted by the Florida Mopar Association. More info, FloridaMoparAssociation.com. October 1st through the 5th, that's October 1st through the 5th, Mopars at the Beach, Daytona Beach, not Myrtle Beach. The reason is Kathy Pearson Bridges, who held the event Mopars at the Beach at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, moved to Florida to be closer to her family. She kept the tradition going, but moved to the location, and she's still going strong doing it. Mopars at the Beach, this time at Daytona Beach. There will be a show later, I will tell you, in South Carolina, put together by another group, but this is what replaces Mopars at the Beach in South Carolina. It's at Daytona Beach. This event is still in the planning stages, but she is working on it. And November 2nd and 3rd, later on this year, Mopars with Big Daddy, Garlett's Drag Racing Museum in Ocala, Florida. You can call 352-245-8661 or go to garlets.com for more information. The great state of Illinois, Mopar Madness 2024 at the Kazi Corner Hot Dogs Beef and Catering area, located at 1250 75th Street, Downers Grove, Illinois. Hosting club will be Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page, look up Chicagoland Mopar Club under events for more contact information. Also, Mopars at the Park from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. at Fox Lake Veterans Memorial Park in Fox Lake, Illinois. Show vehicle entry fee will be $20. Spectator admission is free. Hosting club again, Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page, Chicagoland Mopar Club. Click on events for more information. Also, this is done by the same people, but at a different location. On July 20th, the Midwest Charger Meet 2024. Also, the Modern Mopar Muscle Meet will be held July 20th. July 21st will be the Belvedere Mopar Happening 2024. All these events are happening each day from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Belvedere, Illinois. The hosting club again will be the Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page, Chicagoland Mopar Club. Look under the events tab for more contact information on each of these events. The great state of Indiana, the National Hemi Owners Association meet and reunion will be held in Brownsburg, Indiana, near Indianapolis. No other information available at this time. In the great state of Iowa, Mopars on the Mississippi 2024 will be held at the Dubuque County Fairgrounds, Dubuque, Iowa, from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Hosting club again, Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page, Chicagoland Mopar Club, under events for more contact information. Like we mentioned earlier, September 13th to the 15th in the great state of Kentucky, Holly Mo Party at Beach Bend Raceway Park, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Moparty.com for more information. Kentucky Dragway on their Facebook page said they will be having an all Mopar event in 2024. Now, the date has not been set yet, but they are working on getting that put together. In the great state of Louisiana, the Big Easy Mopar Show benefiting Children's Hospital of New Orleans will be held at the Frederick Siger Service Center in Chalmette, Louisiana. That's spelled Fredric, and the next word is Sigur Civic Center, Chalmette, Louisiana. Hosting club will be Big Easy Mopar Association, BigEasyMopar.org. March 23rd, the 39th Annual Louisiana Mopar Nationals, also known as the Mopar Magic Show, will be held at the First Baptist Church of Shreveport in Shreveport, Louisiana. Contact Gina McFarland at 318-286-1335 or 318-840-5073. You can also write them, snail mail them, Mopar Magic, P.O. Box 52081, Shreveport, Louisiana 71135. And also in New Orleans, Louisiana, July 24th through the 28th, it is the 38th Annual National DeSoto Club Convention. Will be held this year in New Orleans, Louisiana. DeSoto.org for more information. The great state of Michigan, May 5th, the 26th Annual North Oakland Mopar Muscle Club All Mopar Show and Swap Meet will be held 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Packard Proving Grounds at 49965 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan. Hosting club will be the North Oakland Mopar Muscle Club. Look up their Facebook page at North Oakland Mopar Muscle or their website at www.northoaklandmoparmuscle.com. September 21st, the 13th Annual Michigan Mopar Muscle Club All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet. That will also go on from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Hub Stadium in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Hosting club will be the Michigan Mopar Muscle Car Club. You can go to the website, michiganmoparmuscle.com, or email them at showinfo@michiganmoparmuscle.com. The great state of Minnesota and the great show coming up. It is the Midwest Mopars in the Park Car Show and Swap Meet, a huge event. Will be held this year again at the Washington County Fairgrounds, again May 31st through June 2nd. In Stillwater, Minnesota, the hosting club is the Midwest Mopars. Further information, midwestmopars.middletwin.com. That's midwestmopars.middletwin.com. August 4th through the 9th, 2024, Plymouth Owners Club National Meet and Greet will be at Brainerd, Minnesota. The hosting chapter will be the Tall Pines region. Plymouth Owners Plymouth.club is where you go for more information. Mississippi, October 10th, Mopars in Da Bay at Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Call 504-512-0367 for more information. The hosting club is the Big Easy Mopar Association, BigEasyMopar.org. Now, although this is held in Illinois, I did it under Missouri because it is held in the St. Louis, Missouri metropolitan area. It's the annual St. Louis Mopar Blast at Worldwide Technology Speedway in Madison, Illinois. It's hosted by Mopar Blast Incorporated, which is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization. In Nebraska, the second annual H&H Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram All Mopar Show at their dealership in Papillon, Nebraska. Go to their Facebook and Instagram pages for more information. In New Jersey, the great state of New Jersey, the Califon Mopar Show to benefit the Califon Veterans Memorial at Califon Island Park in Califon, New Jersey. Califon Car Show, that's CALIFON carshow.org. The great state of New York, the 14th annual Western New York Mopar Day, all Mopar gathering and drag racing. Lancaster Motorplex, Lancaster, New York. The hosting club is the Western New York Mopars. Make sure you check this club out when they go to Chrysler's at Carlisle, as well as the NYC Mopar Club as well. They're the ones, the NYC, gives you those reminders every 5 days that Carlisle is getting closer. And the last I checked, it was at 125, so it's less than that. So get your plans together and get your lists and everything else. Get your cars ready, get everything packed, and have a great time at Carlisle. That's coming up in the events here. October 13th, Mopars at the Valley Car Show and Swap Meet at Lebanon Valley Dragway in East Chatham, New York. Hosting club is the Capital Area Mopars. Go to dragway.com for more information. In the great state of North Carolina, Spring Mopars at the Rock at Rockingham Dragway in Rockingham, North Carolina, as well as the Fall Mopars at the Rock, which will be held on November 16th, 2024 at Rockingham Dragway, Rockingham, North Carolina, rockinghamdragway.com for more information. Now, in between that, May 11th is the 38th annual Piedmont Mopar Fun Run at Farmington Dragway in Mocksville, North Carolina. Hosting club is the Piedmont Mopar Club. More information, piedmontmopar.com. Ohio. Boy, do we have a lot of great events going on in my home state. It all starts off April 13th. It actually started off in February with the annual swap meet that was held there, put on by Jeff Johnson Motorsports. I'm hoping that was a great success. A lot of people go to it, and I'll find out more at our next club meeting. But to start off even further, the club, April 13th, the Mopar Spring Dust-Off is back. That's what it's renamed again. It will be held at Quaker Steak and Lube in the Polaris shopping area in Columbus, Ohio. The hosting club is All Modern Mopars of Ohio. Go to AMMO Car Club on Facebook. And Anthony Carter of Ammo wanted to let everybody know this is not an event for just modern Mopars. It is an event for all Mopars. May 3rd and 4th, the annual Mid-Ohio Mopars All Mopars Swap Meet and Car Corral. Not a show, but Car Corral will be held at the Wayne County Fairgrounds in Worcester, Ohio. The hosting club, of course, is the Mid-Ohio Mopars. MidOhioMopars.us for more information. June 8th, 2024, the 25th annual St. Mary's Chrysler Mopar or No Car Cruise-In at St. Mary's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Mary's, Ohio, over there in Western Ohio in Mercer County. Registration begins at 9 a.m. The cruise-in starts at 2 p.m. For more information, contact Brian Engel at 419-305-6552. The following day on that Sunday, June 9th, it's the 17th annual Mopars at Junction, held at Junction Auto Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Chardon, Ohio. More information to follow. June 22nd, the All Mopar Show at Plaza Inn Restaurant, 491 South Main Street in Mount Victory, Ohio. I think that is, I forget the county that Upper Sandusky's in, but it's in the central part of the state there, north central part of the state. Wyandotte County. That's right, Wyandotte County. There you go. August 2nd through the 4th, Mopars at 42 at Dragway 42, West Salem, Ohio. Dragway42.com for more information. We at Mid-Ohio Mopars, we got to meet with the Mansion family and get things finalized so we could have our show there and be a part of their great event at Mopars at 42. We are working on that. I'm not mentioning yet because it's not official, but we should be able to get everything done. It went really good last year. We hope to be back there this year. August 9th through 11th. And like I said, Mopars 42 is a good event. August 9th through the 11th, the 43rd Annual Nationals at National Trail Raceway in Crickersville, Ohio, east of Columbus, right on US 40. The webpage is not up and running yet. I have to call to find out when that will be. Their website, like I said, is down, moparnats.org. September 15th, the annual Classic Chrysler Car Club of Toledo Car Show will be held at Yark Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on the Central Avenue Strip in Toledo, Ohio. More information to follow. September 19th through the 22nd, the second annual World of Mopar will be held at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio. Now, the date has not been set for this yet. It normally happens in May. Thomas Fest at Thomas Garage. It's a Chrysler dealer in St. Clairsville, Ohio. The event will happen. I did give the dealership a call. They will have it, and it's a great show. I went last year in the pouring rain, took the Cordoba down there. They treated everyone there like gold. They really get into their Chrysler products there, and they had the Mopar Tire Works representative there, had free hats and other little goodies to go. There was also a kit car, stock car there that somebody brought. And what they did was they have a huge showroom because it's on a hill in a mountain. And they brought us inside. We were able to dry off our cars and have them inside the showroom. They moved a bunch of cars over, and we had our little show right there in the showroom. It was a great event. Very nice people. Thomas Fest will be back Friday, and we're going to make sure Friday night to see if the Raminator will be back crushing some cars. In the great state of Oklahoma, May 10th through the 12th, the 4th annual Southern Plains Mopar Fest. And this will be hosted by the city of Bristow, Oklahoma, and the Bristow, Oklahoma Historical Society at Bristow, Oklahoma, SouthernPlainsMoparFest.com. They are also raising funds because there's a tower sign of the old Chrysler Plymouth dealer in Bristow. They want to try to keep that preserved and keep that in great shape. So this show is also partially a fundraiser to help make sure the sign tower stays up. In Ontario, Canada, August 17th and 18th, Mopar Fest, Canada's largest all-Mopar car show, will be held from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. each day at 251 Jacob Street in New Hamburg, Ontario. MoparFest.com for more information. August 6th through 11th, Walter P. Chrysler Club National Meet will be held in Windsor. Go to chryslerclub.org for more information. August 13th through the 16th, 2024, the 59th Annual Airflow Club National Meet will be at 4 Points Sheridan by Marriott in London, Ontario, Canada, airflowclub.com. And August 24th, 2024, it's the second annual Motor City Mopar Show at Motor City Chrysler in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. The hosting club is the Windsor Area Mopar Muscle Club. More details at WAAMM on their Facebook page under events. I forget what the second A stands for, but yes, that is going on, and it's a great event as well. We're winding it down. We're over halfway through the alphabet in this great state of Oregon. August 4th, 2024, the 39th Annual Woodburn Drag Strip Mopar Nationals at Woodburn Drag Strip in Woodburn, Oregon. WoodburnDragStrip.com for more information, or you can call 541-746-4620. August 8th through the 10th, 2024, the Walter P. Chrysler Pacific Northwest Regional Meet will also be held in Woodburn, Oregon. Email for more information, d.duthie@comcast.net. The great state of Pennsylvania, June 2nd, 2024, the 37th Annual Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Albion County Fairgrounds, Albion, Pennsylvania. The hosting club is the Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club. Go to Let's, in capital letters, Let's, and then Mopar Club on Facebook for more information. June 23rd, 2024, the All Mopar Show, hosted by Lansdale Auto Group and Miss Mopar, will be held from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Lansdale Auto Group in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. Registration opens up at 9 a.m. allmoparshow.com for more information. And, of course, one of the biggies as well, July 12th through the 14th, Chrysler Carlisle Nationals at Carlisle Fairgrounds in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. CarlisleEvents.com for more information. Now, I told you earlier about Mopars at the Beach moving to Daytona in Florida. October 16th through the 19th, will be Mopar Fever. This takes the place of Mopars by the Beach in what was in South Carolina. This will be at Myrtle Beach. Michael Stark is his name. He took it over and someone else did. And they have a website to go to, 8FO, letter O, 3, mopars.org, or go to their Facebook page for more information. But this takes place October 16th through the 19th. This is the replacement for Mopars at the Beach. The lady took the name down with her, which was fine. She's the one that put it together. So we've got to, she took it to Florida. So this will be the replacement event for that. In the great state of Tennessee, September 22nd, the 35th annual Music City Mopar Show at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, Lebanon, Tennessee. Hosting club will be the Music City Mopar Club. You can phone 615-972-1056 or musiccitymoparclub.com. In the great state of Texas, March 22nd through the 24th, Mopar in Heaven at the Texas Motor Speedway. It is WAMshow.com for more information. Victoria, Australia, March 15th through the 17th. Chrysler's on the Murray. Friday racing at the Logic Center Deca Track. Saturday and Sunday at Gateway Lakes in Wodonga, Victoria, Australia. Hosting club will be the Albury Wodonga Chrysler Club. Chrysler's on the Murray. That's Chrysler's on the MURRAY. That's Chrysler's on the MURRAY.com. Great state of Virginia, August 31st. Mopars in the Valley, powered by Berglund Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Salem Civic Center. $20 for pre-registration, $30 the day of the show. Rain date will be September 1st. Hosted by David Simmons and the Roanoke Valley Mopar Club. Search Roanoke Valley Mopar Club on Facebook for more information. And now the final state event we have is July 28th, the 19th annual Mopar Magic. This is in the great state of Washington, the 19th annual Mopar Magic All Mopar Car Show and Shine at Peninsula High School at Gig Harbor, Washington. allaroundmopars.com for more information. Well, the first stop of the National Hemi Shootout Series has been complete. That was held at Orlando Speedway Dragway in Orlando, Florida. And the next event will be April 5th and 6th at Rockingham Dragway in Rockingham, North Carolina. And June 22nd through the 24th will be... Now, why did I lose my mouse? There it is. I saw it there. The third stop will be the Modern Street Hemi Shootout Series. Will be at Cecil County Dragway in Rising Sun, Maryland. October 16th and that was June 22nd. The fourth stop, August 16th and 17th. It will be part of the Woodward Dream Cruise weekend in Detroit, Michigan. And the final stop on the Modern Street Hemi Shootout Series will be at Maryland International Raceway in Mechanicsville, Maryland, hemirace.com for information on all these events. Now, please keep in mind and remember, get in touch with the show people as the show gets closer to make sure that the show you want to go to will still be put on. In case the event gets canceled, you will know. So please call ahead of time and make sure the event's still going on. Because I'm not responsible if you go and there's nothing going on. Please call. That will do it for this edition, episode number 6 of the WaltPar Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. And thanks to Ronan Glon, Ben Sue, Zach Palmer, Jonathan Ramsey, Joel Stocksdale, and Chris Teague of Autoblog.com, Robert S. Miller of MoparInsiders.com, The Beard, Patrick Rawl, and David Zatz of StalePower.com, Reuters, and Mopar Collector's Guide for their contributions to episode number 6. After sending Facebook messages and emails to over 100 Mopar and AMC clubs combined, I can still use your help. Please tell your fellow Mopar fans, lovers, enthusiasts everywhere about the WaltPar Podcast. I would appreciate it very much. They can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Pocket Cast, Spreaker, and Podcast Addict. And please, if you do listen and if you can, please give me a top rating wherever you listen. Now, if you have any questions or comments or concerns or suggestions, you can email me at waltparpodcast@aol.com, or you can snail mail me at P.O. Box 455. This is 2 words, Apple Creek, Ohio, 44606. You can find me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, and now Threads. Search WaltPar Podcast. And don't forget to check out the Mopar-related podcasts. We got to keep the hobby going. The Dodge Pod with Alan Napier and Humberto Ortiz. The T-N-T podcast with Tara Graves and Tina Bogus. And what he builds, and it really is the best Mopar podcast on planet Earth, Talking Mopars with the Mopar hunter himself, Chris Albrecht. Before I go, please, whenever you go to a car show or a cruise-in, find a Mopar that is totally different than yours and say hello to them. It really means a lot. We've got to keep united to keep the hobby going. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll join me here next time for the next episode of the WaltPar Podcast. I'll be talking with a gentleman named Rick Grosniklaus, and he has some very interesting stories to tell in the Mopar hobby, and you'll love listening to him. That will be on episode 7 of the WaltPar Podcast. So hope you'll listen to you then. Anthony Carter from Ammo will be on episode number 8. So we'll be looking forward to that as a club spotlight. So as we leave, as Mike Bonadonna of the Citrus County, Florida, USA Mopar Club says, keep those highways beautiful, drive your Mopars. Uniting all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere. From Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond. This has been the WaltPar Podcast, a production of Auto Catawba LLC. Take care, everyone, and thank you so much for listening.